What good YouTube? You already know what it is, man. It is your boy, Jerry Fit, and we are back to react with what's new on the two, man. We got how DeMarcus Cousins got banned from basketball, bro. This is my first time reacting to the flight mic. We saw clips of what happened to DeMarcus Cousins over the weekend, bro. Or last weekend, whatever it was. But we just saw the full explanation. I really did want to look up clips. I was kind of relying on one of my basketball guys to put out a video, but, you know, hey. The feed blessed. I found the flight mic. Now, I've heard of this guy before, but I've never obviously reacted to a video. But you guys already know what it is, man. We are not afraid to react to anything, bro. If there's anything relevant going on, let me know and we'll react to it, bro. We know who DeMarcus Cousins is, man. Hey, bro, when I was younger, bro, he was in his prime, man. He was popping. He was you know, if you were watching basketball in like 2016, 2018, bro, he was dominating. So we're just gonna see what the flight mic has to say about him being banned. And yeah, man, before we jump in, bro, you already know what I'm going to tell you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, bro. We're posting every single day. Not afraid to post anything, man. So, y'all just keep showing the channel love, man. And I'll keep bringing y'all reactions, bro. Let's jump into it.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's ridiculous. One of the most tragic fall from
That's his favorite word.
NBA history. We're talking about a dude who went from being arguably the most dominant center in the league to getting banned from Puerto Rico's basketball league for fighting fans in the stands. Yeah, you heard that right. DeMarcus Cousins, four-time All-Star, Olympic gold medalist, and the guy who once dropped 56 points in a single game is not making headlines for all the wrong reasons. In this video, we're going to break down how DeMarcus Cousins went from putting up video game numbers to becoming basketball's ultimate cautionary tale. So before we get some content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to get the latest NBA news to the
Yes, sir.
Get all that out of the way. Cue the intro.
Hey, don't want to get that copyright.
Well,
Y'all sub up.
25 baseball W. There'll be a link to join.
Oh, nope.
Greatness. This man was destined for it.
Y'all welcome. No sponsors.
Back in 2009, he was the number 3 recruit in the entire country. A 6'11" monster with handles smoother than a point guard and a shooting touch that made coaches drool. DeMarcus Cousins was way ahead of his time. And when John Calipari got the Kentucky job, DeMarcus Cousins followed him from Memphis to Lexington. Let me tell you, that decision changed everything. At Kentucky,
wait, did he transfer?
He was good. He was dominant, averaging 15 points.
That chin strap is crazy.
While shooting nearly 56% from the field, all in just 23 minutes per game. Think about that efficiency for a second. This dude was getting buckets and boards.
Hey, he played with Wall.
But here's where the story gets interesting. Even at Kentucky, there were warning signs. Cousins was incredibly talented, but he had this edge to him that made scouts nervous. Some called him motor concerns. Others straight up questioned his character. DeMarcus Cousins should have been the number 2 overall pick in the 2010 NBA draft, following his teammate John Wall, and he could have even potentially pushed for number 1 overall pick, given how the NBA was.
That's so crazy that they played together, bro. Two of the biggest prospects for the draft at their time playing on the same team. They must have won the championship, did they, that year? Y'all let me know, bro. I don't know basketball history as much as I know football.
He fell all the way to number 5 in the 2010 NBA draft. And
this dude said all the way to number 5.
As a result, Sacramento had taken with the number 5 overall pick, and at first it looked like highway robbery. Cousins' rookie season was pretty solid, 14 points and 8.6 rebounds, earning him first-team all-rookie honors. But it was what happened next that nobody saw coming. From 2014 to 2017, DeMarcus Cousins wasn't just an all-star.
Dude, I was close. I said 2016 to 2018.
Basketball on a completely different level than everyone else. We're talking about a center who averaged 27 points, 11 rebounds, and nearly 5 assists per game. Let me repeat that. A 270-pound center dishing out 5 assists per game. I know we're very used to Nikola Jokic doing that, but 5 assists per game from a center in 2010 basketball was unheard of at the time. The man was practically Magic Johnson.
Facilitating for real.
DeMarcus Cousins' usage rate during this period was absolutely insane. 35.8% in 2016, which is the highest ever recorded for a center in the shot clock era. For context, that means over a third of Sacramento's possessions ended with Cousins either taking a shot, turning the ball over, or getting to the free throw line. Somehow, he was efficient with it. The numbers don't lie. Cousins was doing things that big men simply weren't supposed to do. He led all centers in drives with 253 in 2016, which was more than some point guards. He was pulling up from 3, running fast breaks, and making passes that you just wouldn't see from a center. This wasn't just a skilled big man. This was basketball evolution happening in real time. And then came that fateful day on January 26, 2016, the night DeMarcus Cousins dropped 56 points against Charlotte in double overtime. He shot 21 of 30 from the field and was absolutely unconscious.
Bro was a dog, man.
Sacramento still lost the game. That
That's how you know your team's shit,
Right there
bro.
tells you everything about Cousins' career. Individual brilliance surrounded by organizational chaos. During this peak period, Cousins made 4 straight All-Star games and earned 2 All-NBA second-team selections. He was in conversations with Anthony Davis and Marcus Gasol as the best big man in the league. Hell, some nights he looked better than both of them. But here's what made Cousins special. He wasn't just putting up empty stats on a bad team. When he got traded to New Orleans and played alongside Anthony Davis before his injury, they were unstoppable. In their brief time together, the Pelicans looked like they could make noise in the playoffs.
Bro, a lot of people thought that they were gonna like win the chip after they acquired him.
What DeMarcus Cousins could have been with proper support. Sacramento was supposed to be Cousins' home, but it turned into basketball purgatory. In 7 seasons, this man played for 2 owners, 3 general managers, and 7 different head coaches. That's not player development, that's organizational malpractice.
Yeah.
The dysfunction started early. In 2012, Coach Paul Westphal literally sent Cousins home from a game, saying he was unwilling to embrace traveling in the same direction as his team. 5 days later, Westphal was fired. That's when everyone realized that DeMarcus Cousins had more job security than his head coaches. But give Cousins credit. Despite the chaos, he kept improving. His numbers went from 14 points per game as a rookie.
Shout out Isaiah Thomas, bro. We saw him.
All-Star season. He broke franchise record, including Chris Webber's single-game scoring mark with that 56-point explosion. He became the first Kings All-Star since 2004 and brought excitement back to Sacramento basketball. The relationship with Sacramento fans was special too. Cousins donated $1 million to local families when he signed his extension. Every Christmas, he would take 100 underprivileged kids shopping, giving each kid $200 to buy presents for their families. And that's the side of Cousins that people really don't talk about enough. When he loved the place, he truly loved it. During the All-Star weekend in 2017, Sacramento traded their franchise player to New Orleans, and Cousins found out through social media.
Bro, that clip is brutal, man. Even way back then when we watched it, dude, I still, like, bro, you can tell how devastated he is when he heard the news, bro. I don't know who was it that came up to him, maybe his agent, I'm assuming. But literally in the middle of interviews, they come up and they told this guy that he's traded, man. Like, the guy that brought, like, so much, you know, so much positive vibes to the city that your team is in, man. That's not how you do someone. That's supposed to be a franchise player, too.
All-Star events. Imagine learning you've been traded while you're supposed to be celebrating making the All-Star team. The New Orleans looked like perfect fit. Pairing Cousins with Anthony Davis created the most talented front court in basketball. In an era where most teams were focused on creating the best backcourt in basketball, Cousins was averaging 25.2 points, 12.9 rebounds, and 5.4 assists. Career highs across the board. The Pelicans were
hooping, bro.
Looking like a playoff team with championship upside. And then, on January 26, 2018, one injury would change DeMarcus Cousins' life forever. DeMarcus Cousins was going
was
for
it
his
the Achilles?
own after missing a free throw against Houston. One after landing, and suddenly the most dominant center in basketball was really on the court. This video is tough to watch, but you can see the exact moment he realizes what happened. His season was over, his prime was robbed from him, and the trajectory of his entire career shifted in an instant as DeMarcus Cousins tore his Achilles tendon. And as a result, DeMarcus Cousins would do something that nobody would expect, signing with the Golden State Warriors for $5.3 million, a huge pay cut from the max contract that he would have gotten pre-injury. But that's desperation talking. After missing an entire year recovering from his Achilles tear, Cousins needed to prove he could still play at an elite level. The Warriors experiment was pretty interesting. When healthy, Cousins gave Golden State enough.
I remember when he was on the Warriors, bro, for a little bit, and I was scared when he signed with them. I was like, bro, they just signed this dude for the minimum. Like, bro, he's gonna hoop. But nah, it didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to.
A true center who could score in the post and stretch the floor. He averaged 16 points and 8.2 rebounds in 30 games, looking like he might actually make it back. But then the basketball gods said not so fast. Cousins tore his quad muscle during the playoffs, missing most of Golden State's postseason run. Even when he returned for the finals, he clearly wasn't the same player. The Warriors lost to Toronto, and Cousins' championship dreams died with them. And here's where the story just gets really cruel. Cousins would then sign with the Los Angeles Lakers, ready to play alongside LeBron.
I low-key forgot about this.
The trio of superstars looked unstoppable on paper. Cousins was motivated, healthy, and ready to contribute to a championship team. And then he tore his ACL in a pickup basketball game before.
Oh, okay, that's why I forgot. I was like, bro, these are Warriors highlights that he's showing here.
Started. The Lakers waived DeMarcus Cousins and signed Markieff Morris instead. They would win a championship that year, and James Cousins.
They gave him a ring?
Anyway.
Oh my gosh, bro. That's gotta suck, man. The fact that they still gave him a ring even though he didn't contribute, he didn't even sign with the team, like, for real. He didn't even get to practice with them, like, once, dude. I don't know what would make me, like, more heated, dude. Getting a ring or, like, missing out on that
Think about
opportunity,
how
bro.
that must have felt. Watching
Yeah.
from the sidelines as his potential teammates celebrated the one thing that had always eluded him.
Exactly.
It was painful to watch. Cousins bounced around the league like a journeyman. Reuniting with his Kentucky teammate John Wall in Houston briefly was kind of adorable, but then after that he would go to the Los Angeles Clippers, Milwaukee Bucks, and Denver Nuggets. But he wasn't the same player. The explosiveness was gone, the confidence shattered, the team's treating him like a spare part instead of a centerpiece.
What a crash
He
out.
averaged 9.6 points. With the Clippers, it was 7.8. Milwaukee and Denver barely used him. This was a four-time All-Star getting DNPs in crucial games, watching younger, less talented players take his minutes. The fall
Less talented?
Now, before we talk about DeMarcus Cousins getting banned from basketball, we need to discuss his temper. This man accumulated 136 technical fouls during his NBA career. 136! For context, that's about 12 technicals per season, which is absolutely insane for any player, let alone a star.
Did you see the way that he side-eye Randall? I was gonna say, I wonder how many texts Draymond has in his career. But dude, the way that he side-eye Randall was hilarious.
Absolutely insane for any player, let alone a star.
I missed it.
Never stopped. In 2012, he was suspended for confronting San Antonio broadcaster Sean Elliott after Elliott criticized him on air. Cousins literally waited after the game to approach Elliott, and the NBA called it threatening and hostile behavior. Then there was the Patrick Beverley punch, February of 2014. Cousins straight up punched Patrick Beverley in the stomach during a game. Not a basketball play, not accidental contact, a legitimate punch that got him suspended and fined $20,000. The coaching relationships were disasters. Paul Westphal lasted one season before getting fired, largely due to his conflicts with Cousins. George Karl tried to trade Cousins the moment he got to Sacramento, leading to a bitter feud that played out on social media.
Oh, I low-key remember this, yeah.
Snake emojis targeting Karl, and years later they were still going at each other on Twitter. But the most telling incident happened in November of 2015. After a loss to San Antonio, Cousins stormed into the locker room and cursed out head coach George Karl with a torrent of obscenities. This wasn't a private disagreement, this was a full-blown meltdown in front of teammates, staff, and organization officials. The pattern was always...
That ain't it, Cousins. He's supposed to be a leader, bro.
Behavioral issues, followed by organizational tension, followed by trades or coaching changes. It happened in Sacramento, New Orleans, though the injury did cut that short, and continued throughout his later career stops. After his final stint with Denver in 2022, DeMarcus Cousins officially gave up on returning to the league. In a February 2024 interview, he said, "I know I've had my time there. You know, there was a point where I was just trying to make that happen. But the place I'm in my life right now, just with everything I've got going on, just outside of basketball, like, I'm in a good place. I'm ready to move on." So Cousins took his talents overseas, and honestly, he's pretty good. In Puerto Rico with the Mets, he averaged 20.4 points and 10.9 rebounds, leading the team to the playoffs. Then he went to Taiwan, where he won the
Bro just hooping for the love of the game. I respect it.
MVP honors. For a minute,
Hey, he got his championship, though.
Cousins had found peace playing international basketball at a high level, but unfortunately, old habits die hard. On June 9, 2025, DeMarcus Cousins potentially played his final game of professional basketball. Here's what happened. Cousins was playing for the Mets against Vaqueros de Bayamon. A fan sitting courtside made some gesture at Cousins. Reports say it was obscene, though the exact details do vary. Instead of ignoring it like any veteran professional should, DeMarcus Cousins lost his mind. He grabbed his crotch, made his own obscene...
Bro. Dude, it's just the way that he straight up grabbed his nuts in front of this dude's face, man.
Then literally put his hand in the fan's face. When teammates tried to calm him down, Cousins was already too heated. He got 2 technical fouls and was ejected from the game. But wait, it gets way worse. As Cousins was walking to the tunnel, fans started throwing drinks and popcorn at him. Instead of keeping his head down and leaving like a professional, Cousins tried to throw back at the crowd. They had to physically restrain him from going.
Bro, he looks like a fucking, like, bull, dude. Like when they hold the, I don't know what it's called, bro. Is it called bull hunting? Or when they had the fucking red flag and then they just fucking make them charge at you? That's what he looks like, dude.
They suspended Cousins for the rest of the season, fined him $4,250, and left the door open for additional penalties up to $10,000. And the Mets immediately terminated his contract. Think about that for a second. A former NBA All-Star, a guy who made nearly $100 million in his career, got banned from Puerto Rico's basketball league for fighting fans. Embarrassing, career-ending getting stuff from a 34-year-old.
Oh, he's only 34?
His cousin's legacy. On one hand, you've got a player who revolutionized the center position. He was doing things in 2016 that every big man does now. Shooting threes, handling the ball, making plays for teammates. DeMarcus Cousins was truly ahead of his time. A 6'11" point center who could score from anywhere on the court. His peak numbers are ridiculous. 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. Only a handful of players in NBA history have put up those kinds of numbers. He made 4 All-Star teams, 1 Olympic gold medals, and set records that still stand today.
You want a gold medal?
What did he actually accomplish? 0 playoff series wins, 0 championships, 0 respect from coaches, teammates, or organizations by the end of his career. He played for 8 different NBA teams and got released or traded from most of them. The injury argument only goes so far. Yes, the Achilles injury in 2018 robbed him of his prime years. Yes, the quad and ACL injuries that followed made things worse. But Cousins was having behavioral issues long before any of those injuries happened. He was getting technical fouls, fighting with coaches, and creating locker room drama when he was healthy and playing at an all-star level. Compare him to other talented players who dealt with injuries, guys like Derrick Rose or Brandon Roy. Those players are remembered fondly because they handled adversity with class. But DeMarcus Cousins, he's remembered as a cautionary tale about what happens when talent isn't matched by professionalism. The saddest part about this is DeMarcus Cousins had everything you could want in a basketball player except the one thing that matters most: the ability to make his teammates and organization better. He was a transcendent individual talent who somehow made every situation worse. DeMarcus Cousins is currently 34 years old. He's banned from Puerto Rico's basketball league, and he's probably done playing professional basketball at any meaningful level. There's always Chinese basketball or some other overseas opportunity. But let's be honest, after getting suspended for fighting...
Bro, the way that he fucking grabs it, it's killing me.
The Puerto Rico incident feels like the perfect end to the story. Not because it was the worst thing Cousins ever did, but because it was so predictable. A talented player letting his emotions control him, creating unnecessary drama, and ultimately sabotaging his career. It's the same pattern that's followed him since his Kentucky days. Now, I know I was really hard on DeMarcus Cousins, but this is what makes the story so confusing. Cousins genuinely seems like a good person outside of basketball. His charity work in Sacramento was real. His connection with fans was authentic. His teammates generally liked him as a person, even when they couldn't stand playing with him. And that's what makes this story tragic instead of just pathetic.
Oh, he's great.
This isn't a story about a bad person who happened to be good at basketball. This is about a flawed person who couldn't separate his emotions from his profession, and how that single weakness destroyed what should have been a Hall of Fame career. In my opinion, DeMarcus Cousins will go down as one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. If he'd been drafted by the Spurs instead of Sacramento,
bro, you have to think about it, man, because Pop, man, you know how he is with the fucking big men, bro. He's a legend, so imagine Cousins on the Spurs.
Alongside Anthony Davis, if he'd learned to control his temper, would he be mentioned with the all-time great centers? We'll never know, and that's what makes this story so compelling. What we do know is that DeMarcus Cousins possessed Hall of Fame talent. It made him nearly $100 million, and it influenced how the center position is played today. But he also wasted most of that talent, burned bridges everywhere he went, and ended his career getting suspended from the Puerto Rico basketball league. That's not just a basketball tragedy, that's a human tragedy. Because at the end of the day, DeMarcus Cousins beat everyone except himself. Let me know in the comment section down.
Yeah, man, that's gonna do it for this video, bro. Appreciate the Flight Mike for letting me use the content, man. What do you guys think, bro? His story, it is kind of tragic, man. Just because, like, he had so much talent before the injuries and stuff. Even still after the injuries, he was still hooping a little bit. But I hope he can find peace with whatever he's dealing with, bro. This dude, you know, everywhere he goes, he seems to find an issue with something. So, I don't know, bro. What do you guys think? Is he done playing basketball? I feel like he'll probably continue to play basketball because, like he said, like, he's done trying to get back to the NBA. He just hoops for fun. So I can't imagine that he'll pass up the opportunity to play professionally. Like, I can't imagine he'll pass up the opportunity to play the game if it's still paying him. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. You already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Turn on post notifications. Make sure you're not missing any video. We post every day, bro. Appreciate you guys as always, man. I'll see y'all in the next video.